Welcome back to my channel, Coin Collectors. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of state quarter dollars, coins that many people think are ordinary, but some are actually worth big money bag. In this video, we'll explore the iconic state designs, the commemorative history, and the hidden treasures behind these U.S. quarters. We're counting down the top 7 most valuable, expensive, and ultra-rare state quarter coins, including rare silver issues, error coins, and special varieties. You will hear shocking stories from American coin history, learn about rare color tones and shades, and discover valuable mint mark varieties from the Philadelphia P, Denver D, and San Francisco S, mints that collectors and investors are searching for today. Here's the shocking truth. Even dirty, worn, or seemingly ordinary state quarters could be worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars exploding head. So before you spend that old quarter, stick around, because you might be holding a fortune in your hands. Backhand index pointing right. Let's start with coin number 1. In 2008, when fear was spreading faster than fire through banks, homes, and entire nations, a small silver-colored coin quietly carried one of the oldest stories in American history. The Oklahoma State Quarter, struck at the Denver Mint with a small d that almost no one noticed at the time. This coin entered circulation during one of the most emotionally charged financial years of the modern era, when people questioned whether money itself could still be trusted. That timing alone transformed ordinary change into something symbolic, something people began to look at differently, not just as currency, but as a possible lifeline. The Oklahoma design was not chosen casually. It shows a scissor-tailed flycatcher soaring freely above wild Indian blanket flowers. Imagery rooted deeply in survival, resilience, and untamed land. Oklahoma's history is not soft or decorative. It is marked by displacement, endurance, and rebuilding after devastation. When this design appeared on a quarter in 2008, it carried a message far heavier than its face value. It reminded people that hardship does not erase identity. It forges it. That emotional connection is why this coin still pulls attention today. The Denver Mint mark, the simple letter D, is where obsession begins. Millions were struck, yes, but 2008 was not a normal year. People hoarded coins out of fear. Drawers filled, jars sealed, pockets stopped circulating the way they used to. Large numbers of Oklahoma quarters vanished into private storage not because they were rare, but because trust in the system was breaking. That mass behavior created uneven survival, and uneven survival is where value myths are born. This is where the dangerous stories start. People began claiming silver Oklahoma quarters, secret test strikes, experimental metals, and errors worth unimaginable money. Videos promised overnight wealth. Posts warned people not to spend their change. Fear and hope mixed into something explosive. And hidden inside all that noise was a small truth, not about normal coins, but about errors. Genuine mint errors, real anomalies, exist in every modern series, including 2008 quarters. But they are not common, not obvious, and not revealed by dirt. Dirty condition coins confuse people more than anything else. A dark quarter looks old. Old feels valuable. Valuable feels powerful. But modern U.S. coins are judged harshly. Dirt usually means environmental damage, corrosion, or neglect, not rarity. And cleaning, even gently, destroys the microscopic surface that experts rely on to identify authenticity. Many potential discoveries were ruined forever by curiosity and impatience. The Oklahoma quarter is no exception. It does not forgive mistakes. The idea that this coin can make someone a billionaire overnight is not born from facts. It is born from desperation. In 2008, people wanted miracles. They wanted proof that something small could defeat something enormous. Coins became symbols of hidden rescue. The idea that a quarter could secretly be worth millions felt fair in a world that felt unfair. But the coin market does not run on emotion. It runs on verification. Every modern coin that has ever sold for shocking money did so because it was proven beyond doubt, not because it was believed. The real historical importance of the 2008 Oklahoma State Quarter is not its price, but its position in time. It represents the closing phase of the state quarters program, an emotional collapse of financial confidence worldwide. It is a circulating artifact from a year that reshaped how people think about money. High grade, Untouched examples will become scarcer over decades, not because they are rare today, but because survival always thins a population. Errors, when real, are the only path to extreme value here. Offsetter strikes, missing layers, wrong metal strikes. These are the events that create headlines and fuel legends. But they're found by knowledge, not luck. They're identified by weight, edges, sound, and microscopic detail, not by internet claims or dramatic stories. Dirt hides truth. It never creates it. If you find a 2008 D Oklahoma quarter today, the most powerful action is restraint. Do not clean it. Do not assume. Do not believe anyone promising miracles. Look carefully. Respect the surface. Compare. Study. Verify. Coins do not reward excitement. They reward discipline. The shocking history of this coin is not that it can make you rich overnight. It is that it was born during a moment when the world lost faith in money, and people began searching for hope in the smallest places. That emotional weight will always follow it. And that is why, even today, a simple quarter with a bird in flight can still make people stop, look twice, and wonder, not about silver, not about millions, but about what value really means when everything else is uncertain. In 2022, while the world was still recovering from fear, isolation, and broken systems, the United States quietly released a coin that carried far more history than its face value suggested. And that coin was the Anna May Wong quarter, struck at the Denver Mint with a small D that most people ignored without realizing what they were holding. This was not just another quarter. It was a statement, a correction, and a long-delayed recognition pressed into metal at a moment when society was finally ready to look backward and admit what it had erased. Anna May Wong was not a politician, not a general, not a ruler. She was a woman who survived rejection, racism, and silence in an era that offered her none of the protection history now pretends existed. Her face appearing on a circulating U.S. coin marked a radical shift in what American money was willing to remember. When this quarter entered circulation, it joined the American Women Quarters program, not the State Quarter series. But that distinction was lost on most people, and misunderstanding is where legends are born. The coin itself looks ordinary at first glance. The familiar size, the familiar sound, the same color millions have seen all their lives. But the portrait is different, calm, controlled, defiant without shouting. It carries the weight of a woman who had to leave her own country to be respected, then return to be remembered. That emotional gravity is why this coin immediately attracted attention far beyond normal collecting circles. People did not just collect it, they felt it. The Denver Mint mark, that single letter D, became the spark for speculation. People began asking questions. Why does mine look darker? Why does this one feel different? Why does the edge look strange? Why is the sound duller? And as always, the internet answered faster than reality could keep up. Claims appeared of silver versions, experimental metals, rare strikes, and secret test coins worth impossible money. Hope exploded. Fear followed. And suddenly, people were told not to spend their change, because a quarter might change their bloodline overnight. This is where the story becomes dangerous. The standard 2022 D. Anna May Wong quarter is not silver. It is a copper-nickel-clad coin, just like modern circulating quarters. But dirt, discoloration, and environmental damage can trick the eye. A darkened surface looks old. Old feels rare. Rare feels powerful. And power invites belief. Many people began thinking dirty quarters were special, protected by grime, hiding secrets underneath. In reality, dirt does not protect value. It hides damage. And cleaning does not reveal truth. It destroys it. Modern coins are judged harshly. Microscopic surfaces matter. Original mint texture matters. One careless wipe can permanently erase the very thing that could have proven a coin unusual. Many modern coins that could have been valuable errors were ruined by curiosity alone. The Anna May Wong quarter does not forgive impatience. The only path to extreme value with this coin lies in true mint errors. Real ones, verified ones, coins struck on the wrong metal, coins missing layers, coins struck off-center or with dramatic planchet flaws. These events are rare, chaotic, and unplanned, and that is why they matter. When they occur, they create coins that defy expectation and command staggering prices. But they are not common, and they do not announce themselves through dirt or color alone. The idea that this coin can make someone a billionaire overnight comes from something deeper than money. It comes from timing. In uncertain years, people search for miracles in small objects. They want proof that the system failed to see something valuable, and that they found it instead. Coins become symbols of that hope. The Anna May Wong quarter, born from a story of being overlooked, naturally attracted that belief. Historically, this coin matters because it marks a turning point in what American currency is willing to honor. For centuries, money celebrated power. This coin celebrates endurance. That shift alone guarantees its place in history, even if its market value remains ordinary for most examples. High-grade, untouched pieces will slowly become scarcer over decades, not because they are rare today, but because survival always narrows the field. If you find a 2022 D. Anna May Wong quarter, the most powerful move is restraint. Do not clean it. Do not assume silver. Do not trust viral promises. Study it. Respect the surface. Compare weight, edge, and strike. And if something truly looks impossible, let professionals decide. Coins do not reward excitement. They reward patience and knowledge. The shocking truth is not that this quarter will make everyone rich. It is that it proves value is not always about metal. Sometimes it is about memory. And memory, once struck into money, never truly disappears. That is why this coin matters. Not because it promises millions, but because it reminds us that history can hide in plain sight, quietly waiting for someone to look closer. In 1999, the United States changed money forever without warning the public. What looked like a simple redesign was actually the largest experiment in American coinage history, and at the center of that storm stood the Pennsylvania state quarter, struck in Denver with the quiet letter D, released into circulation when nobody yet understood what was happening. This was not just the first year of the state quarters program. It was the birth of modern coin obsession, and Pennsylvania was one of the earliest sparks that ignited it. Before 1999, coins were ignored. After 1999, people searched couches, jars, and sidewalks with purpose. The Pennsylvania quarter entered circulation like a whisper, but the reaction it triggered became a roar. Millions were struck, yes, but chaos always creates anomalies, and anomalies are where legends begin. When production ramps up at historic speed, perfection collapses, dies crack, planchets slip, layers separate, and mistakes escape into the wild disguised as pocket change. The Pennsylvania design itself feels deceptively calm. George Washington on one side, dignified and familiar, and on the reverse a proud keystone, balanced, symbolic, surrounded by restrained elegance. Nothing about it screams danger or fortune. And that is exactly why people overlook it. Coins that change lives never look loud at first. They look normal, ordinary, spendable. The 1999 D-Mint mark matters because Denver was under intense pressure that year. Speed mattered more than beauty. Quantity mattered more than inspection. And when that happens, coins are born with secrets. Some Pennsylvania quarters left the mint missing entire metal layers, revealing copper cores that should never be visible. Others were struck off-center so dramatically that the design appears to be sliding off the coin, like reality itself misaligned. A few were struck on the wrong planchets entirely, metal meant for other denominations, other coins, other stories. This is where the myth of the silver Pennsylvania quarter begins. The standard coin is not silver. It never was. But certain errors weigh differently, sound different, and shine differently, and that difference is enough to ignite belief. Add dirt, oxidation, and decades of handling, and suddenly a damaged coin feels ancient, heavy, important. People mistake corrosion for rarity. They mistake grime for protection. In truth, dirt hides damage, not value. But damage itself can sometimes tell a powerful story. The most dangerous thing anyone can do to a 1999 D Pennsylvania quarter is clean it. The moment you rub it, polish it, or scrub it, you erase evidence. Original surfaces are the fingerprints of the mint. Once they're gone, even a rare error becomes just another wounded coin. Many fortunes have been destroyed by curiosity alone, not by spending, but by touching too much. The stories of million-dollar quarters did not come from nowhere. They came from extreme errors, one-in-millions events that surfaced during the early chaos of the state quarters rollout. Coins struck on experimental or mismatched metal. Coins missing entire clad layers. Coins with dramatic double strikes that look like echoes frozen in steel. These are the coins that cross into 5-figure and 6-figure territory when authenticated. They are not common. They are not guaranteed. But they are real. What gives a Pennsylvania quarter its lasting power is timing. It represents the moment Americans realize their change might matter. It represents the collapse of indifference. Every modern collector traces their origin story back to 1999, whether they admit it or not. That emotional weight gives this coin historical gravity beyond metal content or face value. A dirty Pennsylvania quarter does not mean a valuable one, but a dirty quarter that was never cleaned, never altered, never questioned. That is where possibility lives. Weight, thickness, sound, strike alignment, and edge structure tell more truth than shine ever will. The market rewards originality, not beauty. The idea that this coin could change a life overnight is not about probability. It is about awareness. The people who found life-changing coins were not lucky. They were careful. They did not rush. They did not assume. They let experts confirm what emotion could not. Most 1999 D Pennsylvania quarters are worth exactly 25 cents. That is the honest truth. But history does not care about averages. History remembers exceptions. And this coin, born at the exact moment modern coin collecting exploded, will always be searched, questioned, and re-examined long after others are forgotten. So if you find one, do not dismiss it. And do not believe every promise either. Respect it. Preserve it. Because sometimes the power of a coin is not what it buys today, but what it teaches you to look for tomorrow. And that is how ordinary change becomes extraordinary history. In 2023, something very quiet happened in American money, and almost nobody noticed it at first. No alarms, no headlines, no warning. Just a new quarter slipping into circulation, carrying the face of Edith Connecticut, a woman whose name most people had never heard before, yet whose story reaches deeper than metal, deeper than value, deeper than time. This was not just another state quarter or another commemorative release. This was a cultural statement pressed into a 25-cent coin, and history shows us that coins born from moments of cultural change are the ones that collectors chase for decades. The 2023 The Edith Connecticut quarter, struck in Denver, arrived during a period when the U.S. Mint was already stretched thin, balancing speed, symbolism, and massive production. Whenever a mint is forced to work fast while carrying meaning, mistakes are born. That is not theory. That is history. And every great coin story begins not with perfection, but with pressure. This quarter belongs to the American Women Quarters Program, a series designed to rewrite the visual language of U.S. coinage. For over a century, the same faces dominated American money. Suddenly, that changed. Edith Connecticut was not a politician, not a general, not a president. She was a guardian of Hawaiian language, chant, and identity. When her image was placed on a circulating coin, it marked a turning point. The first time many Americans ever held Hawaiian cultural history in their hands without realizing it. The design itself is powerful and subtle. Edith stands mid-chant, mouth open, eyes alive, hands lifted in motion, frozen between sound and silence. This is not a passive portrait. This is movement trapped in metal. And movement is difficult to strike cleanly. Fine lines blur. Depth varies. Dies were faster. Small changes between strikes become inevitable. The Denver Mint mark, the quiet D, matters more than most people understand. Denver coins often show stronger strikes, but when production ramps up, that strength can turn into inconsistency. Some 2023, the Edith Connecticut quarters display unusually soft details. Others show sharp edges paired with weak centers. These contradictions are fingerprints of stressed eyes, the birthplace of collectible anomalies. Now comes the part that fuels the rumors, the whispers, the late-night searches through coin jars. These quarters are not silver. They were never intended to be. But history teaches us that experimental planchets, transitional metals, and wrong stock errors do not announce themselves. They slip out quietly. A quarter that feels heavier. One that rings differently. One whose edge looks wrong under light. That is where imagination begins, and sometimes where discovery follows. Dirty condition coins play a dangerous role in this story. Dirt does not create value, but it can hide it. A grimy surface can protect original mint texture underneath, preserving evidence that cleaning would erase forever. Many people destroy potential rarity by trying to make a coin look new. Collectors know better. Original surfaces, even ugly ones, speak louder than shine. The internet loves the phrase $1,000,000 coin, but reality is more interesting than exaggeration. Coins do not become valuable because they are common. They become valuable because they are wrong in rare ways. A dramatic off-center strike. A missing clad layer, revealing copper like a wound. A double strike that creates ghost images of the design. A strike on the wrong metal entirely. These are the events that move coin from pocket change into auction catalogs. The 2023 Edith Connecticut quarter is still young. That is what makes it dangerous and exciting. The market has not fully decided its future yet. Errors discovered early often explode in value because collectors race to secure the first known examples. Once certified, documented, and proven, those coins become reference points, and reference points become legends. What gives this quarter long-term power is not hype, it is context. It was born during a shift in American identity, during a re-examination of whose stories are told and whose faces are honored. Coins tied to social turning points age differently. They are not just collected, they are remembered. Most of these quarters will always be worth face value. That must be said clearly. But history is not written by most. It is written by exceptions. And exceptions are found by people who slow down, question assumptions, and resist the urge to spend first and think later. If you find a 2023 the Edith Connecticut quarter, do not rush to sell it. Do not clean it. Do not trust anyone who promises instant millions. Instead, respect it. Study it. Weigh it. Listen to it. Let professionals decide what emotion cannot. Because sometimes a coin does not change your fortune overnight. It changes the way you look at every coin forever after. And that awareness is where real wealth begins. In 2007, while most people were distracted by rising prices, fast money, and everyday noise, a quiet coin entered circulation carrying the identity of an entire land. The evergreen state quarter, representing Washington, arrived without celebration, without drama, and without warning. It looked ordinary. It felt ordinary. And that is exactly how history likes to hide its most dangerous secrets. In plain sight, inside the most ignored objects of daily life. This was not just another state quarter. It was part of a massive experiment, a nationwide program that flooded America with billions of coins, pushing mints to their limits. When pressure meets speed, perfection breaks. And when perfection breaks, rarity is born. The 2007 P. Washington State Quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, carries that pressure in its metal, even if most people never stop to look closely enough to see it. Washington is called the Evergreen State for a reason. Endless forests, ancient trees, land that refuses to go barren. The irony is powerful. A coin celebrating permanence was created during one of the most rushed periods in modern U.S. coin production. That contradiction matters. Because when mints rush, dies crack, layers misalign, planchets slip where they shouldn't, and coins escape that were never meant to exist. Look at the design. George Washington's portrait on the front appears calm, almost bored, as if he knows something we don't. The reverse tells a different story. Mount Rainier rises with quiet authority, framed by towering evergreens, symbolizing endurance and patience. But symbols are fragile when struck millions of times. Fine details vanish. Some trees blur into shadows. Some mountains lose their edges. And in rare moments, something goes wrong, spectacularly wrong. The Philadelphia Mint mark, or rather the absence of mark, plays a silent role here. No letter, no signal, just emptiness. To collectors, that emptiness is a language of its own. Philadelphia coins are often overlooked because they feel default. But default coins are exactly where the most shocking mistakes hide, because nobody expects them. Now comes the part people whisper about, the part that turns casual interest into obsession. This quarter is not a silver coin by design. It was never meant to be. But throughout history, transitional metals, experimental blanks, and wrong stock planchets have escaped mints during high-volume years. A coin struck on the wrong metal does not announce itself. It feels different. It sounds different. It ages differently. And sometimes it sits in a drawer for decades before someone realizes it should not exist. Dirty condition coins are central to this story. Dirt does not destroy value. Ignorance does. A grimy, darkened quarter may be hiding original mint luster beneath decades of neglect. Cleaning it can erase microscopic evidence that proves authenticity. Collectors pay premiums for originality, not beauty. A coin that looks ugly but untouched can be worth more than a shiny one that's been ruined by human hands. The internet loved the fantasy of one coin making you a billionaire overnight. And while reality is more disciplined, it is no less thrilling. Coins do not reach 6 or 7 figures because they are old or common. They reach that level because they are wrong in ways that cannot be repeated. A double-struck Washington face. A quarter missing its outer clad layer, exposing copper like a scar. A die crack slicing through the design like lightning. A dramatic off-center strike that shifts the entire image into chaos. These are not theories. These are events, and they happen quietly. What makes the 2007 Evergreen State Quarter fascinating is timing. It exists at the crossroads of mass production and cultural symbolism. State quarters were collected by children, grandparents, casual savers, people who never imagined they were holding future collectibles. That means rare pieces slipped into hands that didn't know how to recognize them, and many are still out there, hiding in jars, cash registers, and forgotten boxes. Most of these quarters will always be worth exactly 25 cents. That truth must be respected. But history is not built on averages. It is built on outliers. The few coins that survive mistakes, neglect, and ignorance become anchors in the collector world. They set records. They create legends. And they rewrite expectations. If you ever find a 2007 P. Washington Evergreen State Quarter, do not rush. Do not spend it. Do not clean it. Hold it under light. Tilt it. Listen to it drop on a table. Compare it to another quarter. Let curiosity do the work before greed does the damage. Because sometimes the power of a coin is not in its face value, not in its metal, and not even in its market price. Sometimes its power lies in the simple fact that it teaches you to look twice at things the world told you to ignore. And that habit, the habit of seeing value where others see nothing, is how fortunes are really made. In 2008, while the world was shaking under financial pressure and trust in money itself was beginning to crack, a quiet quarter entered circulation, carrying the image of one of the oldest landscapes on Earth. The Arizona State Quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, did not arrive with fanfare. No one lined up. No one stopped to stare. It slipped into wallets, cash drawers, and pockets like it had no story at all. And that is exactly how the most dangerous coins are born, unnoticed, underestimated, and unprotected. Arizona is not just a state. It is a timeline carved in stone. The Grand Canyon, etched on the reverse of this coin, is not a decoration. It is a record of millions of years layered in silence. When that image was chosen, the coin unknowingly inherited the same symbolism. Layers, depth, hidden time, and coins that carry layered meaning have a habit of aging differently in the collector world. The 2008 P. Arizona Quarter was struck during one of the most stressful production eras in modern U.S. minting history. Enormous volume, shrinking margins for error, and a nationwide program that demanded speed over perfection. When speed becomes law, mistakes become inevitable. Dies wear down faster, alignment slips, pressure fluctuates, and coins escape that were never supposed to leave the building. The front of the coin shows George Washington, unchanged, unmoved, almost frozen in time. But the back tells a louder story. The canyon yawns open, massive, and unforgiving, while a banner reading Grand Canyon State stretches across the design like a bridge between past and present. Fine details run deep here, and deep details are always at risk. Some strikes came out soft. Others came out unusually sharp. That inconsistency is not random. It is evidence. The Philadelphia Mint mark, or more precisely its absence, plays a quiet but critical role. No P, no D, no S, just silence. Philadelphia coins often feel invisible to casual collectors, and invisibility is where rarity likes to hide. While eyes chase flashy mint marks, quiet coins slip by unchecked, carrying secrets nobody thinks to question. Now we enter the zone where reality and rumor collide. This quarter is not a silver coin by design. It was never intended to be. But history does not follow intentions. Transitional planchets, wrong metal blanks, and experimental stock have escaped mints before, especially during years of heavy demand. A coin struck on the wrong material does not announce itself. It waits, sometimes for years, sometimes for generations. Collectors know something most people don't. Dirty coins can be safer than clean ones. Dirt hides, but it also protects. A grimy Arizona quarter might still carry untouched mint texture beneath its surface, preserving evidence that cleaning would destroy forever. The moment a coin is scrubbed, brushed, or polished, its story is erased, and erased stories are worthless. The internet loves extreme promises. $1 million coin. Spend once. Regret forever. Most of that noise is fantasy. But buried inside fantasy is a real truth. Coins become priceless only when they are wrong in rare, provable ways. A dramatic off-center strike that pulls a canyon off balance. A missing outer clad layer, exposing raw copper like an open wound. A die crack tearing through the canyon walls like an earthquake frozen in metal. A double strike that creates a ghost canyon, overlapping reality. These are not myths. These are documented phenomena, and they happen quietly. What makes the Arizona quarter especially intriguing is timing. Released during a period of economic fear, it entered circulation when people were spending faster and looking less closely. That means errors slipped through unnoticed. That means rare examples may still be sitting in jars, drawers, and forgotten containers, mistaken for ordinary change. Most Arizona quarters will never be worth more than face value. That truth matters. But history is not shaped by most. It is shaped by exceptions. And exceptions only survive when someone chooses not to dismiss what looks ordinary. If you ever hold a 2008 P. Arizona State quarter, do not rush. Do not clean it. Do not assume you already know its worth. Hold it to the light. Listen to its sound when it falls. Compare its weight. Observe its edges. Let patience replace impulse. Because sometimes a coin does not make you rich overnight. Sometimes it gives you something more powerful. The ability to see value where others see nothing. And that ability, once learned, never leaves you.